What is up, everybody? It's Call. As you might know me, you're watching Talking Ball, and I'm very glad to have you here. You might notice it looks a little different around here. Nothing too crazy, nothing too special. Still working on it, but I'm happy. I got a new light, got some lights back there, got a flag, and all of this wonderful stuff was brought to you, or brought to me, or made possible by Patreon and my Patreon members. Currently, I have 2 Patreon members, and I want to shout them both out: Chris Peters and Wayne Bonner. Thank you guys, for sponsoring me and the show, I guess, so to speak. You have helped to kind of raise it up a level, and feels good. Onwards and upwards. I also wanted to add that we are at 270 subscribers. We are pushing for the big 300. If you could slap a like on this, subscribe, show everybody you know that's a Spurs fan. See if they want to subscribe too. Like I said, we are so close to hitting that 300 mark. Let's see if we can get over the hill and push through. Right now, we've already got some people in the comments. One of them is my favorite. One of my favorite people ever. Altel Cockerell, or as you might know him, Jose, who runs the channel Altel Cockerell. Going over to Jose's channel, give him a like, give him a subscribe, like some of his previous videos. It helps the algorithm. It helps us all to get more people watching. And that's really just what we're all, we all just want to be a big family, hanging out and having fun. Chris Agambar, what is up, Chris? One of the OGs on the channel. Chris says, big up Colin. Big up right back at you, Chris. Hope you're doing well, my man. Hope you're doing well, staying healthy, staying happy. Kate, from Just a Girl Who Loves Spurs, is here. Kate, what is up? Very, very, very glad to have you. Always nice to be joined by you, Kate. And a Beer Talk's here too. We just got a full house, guys. Today, one of the main things we're going to be talking about is it is salty Liverpool. And I love it. But we'll get more to that. There's still a couple more people who I haven't said hi to. We've got Tot Spurs. Big up, call and all. I like that. I like that a lot. NA Beer Talk, though, says this win feels icky. I don't know how, man, you can feel well with winning like this. I mean, icky? I get what you're saying. And I get that it wasn't, let me fix something here. It wasn't like the best win, and we didn't win super convincingly. We had to play against 9 men, and we just managed to win. But I would argue that it's a lot harder to play against a team that's just completely sitting back rather than attacking and playing against us. These guys were lining up to stop us, not so much playing against us, if that makes sense. I'm sure it does, obviously, but I'm just really happy that we got the win. I have no idea how we did it, but it's weird. I don't know about you guys. At the last seconds, as the game was dying, I did not feel scared. I did not feel scared. I just had this feeling. I guess after Kulu's late winner, it felt like anything was possible, and I jumped up. My wife, my mother, and I jumped around, screamed, hugged, threw stuff. I mean, it was absolutely amazing. And like you said, the win wasn't convincing. It wasn't that fun of a win, but just getting the win was huge. Continuing, our run, continuing, our great form. It's all so important. And so we did a great job. Postecoglou again is the man. Chris Agambar, salt. Absolutely. And we'll get into that. Of course, we'll get into that. NA Beer Talk says, sorry, been around my kids too long this weekend. No, Iggy's a great word. Don't ever stop. Don't stop saying that. Salty Liverpool. Of course, before we get into that, we're going to start with something a little more lighthearted like we always do. You know what time it is, guys. We got a little Keep or West Ham coming. This is going to be a short one, short episode in general. So let's get going. Hey, everybody, it's Call. It is time for today's edition of the internet's #1 Tottenham game show, Keeper West Ham. Let's just jump into it. Today, we've only got one. And like I said, we're keeping everything a little short today, but there's only one. And today's vote is for who will go down in history as Mr. Tottenham. This one's going to be really hard, everybody. One to keep, one to send to West Ham. The one Harold Kane OBE versus Heung-min's son, Heung-min Daddy, as you will. This is a tough one. And I guess it's who would you keep and who would you send away, but also at the end of the day, who is Mr. Tottenham to you in the future for future generations when kids look back at this time period? Which of these two players is going to be more synonymous with Tottenham to them? Very tough question for me. Altel says keep Harry, and NA Beer Talk says keep Sonny. So yeah, I knew this one was going to be a little bit of a, we're going to be splitting hairs here. Kate says keep both. All other answers are wrong. Well, Kate, you've got to get rid of one. You've just got to get rid of one. And anyway, think of it not as getting rid of one, but in this case, who is Mr. Tottenham to you? Looking back 10 years from now, looking back at this squad at this time period, which of these two players is gonna represent Tottenham, you think, more to you? It's tough for me, but I think I have an answer. I never want to tell you guys my answer at the beginning, mainly so I can steal yours. No, I'm just kidding. I just don't want you guys stealing mine. I think it's Sonny. Kate says I don't have to get rid of one, and you can't make me. Deal. Hey, deal. But everyone else is doing it, Kate. They always say peer pressure is a wonderful thing. So yeah. Just pick one, Kate. Just do it. Who do you love more? Let's put it that way. Which of these two players gets more love from you, Kate? To me, it's Sonny. Sonny seems like, even though Kane always, of course, played for the badge, always, Sonny seems like he would die for the badge. It's not playing for the badge for Sonny. Sonny would literally go out on that pitch and die for Spurs. I truly feel that. And not that we would ask him to, of course, but it's just nice to have a player that would go out and give everything they've got to Spurs, to the cause, to seeing us keep Hanny. I like that. I like the morph or Sari. Love it. Hotspur says Harry for his goals and Sonny for the trophies that are coming. Yes. And I guess we'll get into this in a second, but how long until people have to start taking Spurs seriously this season? How many more wins do we have to get? How far into the season do you think we need to get before we can start, saying, hey, maybe top 4 is a possibility. Maybe even more than that is a possibility. But guys, we are still going. I haven't gotten answers from everybody, I don't think. It is Harry Kane versus Heung-min's son. One to keep, one to go. Who is Mr. Tottenham to you? NA Beer Talk. My kids are half Asian, so to us, Sonny is who they cling to. We underestimate representation in sports and media. Yeah, 100%. And Sonny is a wonderful role model to so many people out there. You're 100% right. That's a really, really good point. That Sonny represents an entire, group of people that you're right aren't represented in the media a lot. So yeah, that's a wonderful thing. Happy for you guys. Happy for your kids. Happy for them to have Sonny as a role model to look up to. Couldn't be a better one in my opinion. But yeah, hey, these are all personal reasons, man. No worries, no worries. That's what it's all about. This is a very personal thing for everybody. For me, Sonny is who I would keep, basically, just because, like I said, he would do anything for Spurs. We helped him, and he is loyal to us and will be loyal to us for a long, long time to come. I honestly feel like he's going to finish his career here. Remember last season, everyone said, "Oh, Sonny's done. He's finished. Maybe we should cash in. Why didn't we sell him to Madrid?" You heard all those things last season, but he's definitely proving the doubters wrong. Everyone's got their foot in their mouth now. And I'm sure glad. We're very lucky to have Sonny leading the line, and it has made the departure of Harry Kane so much easier for everybody. And nobody thought it was going to be this seamless. We all thought we would be in trouble this season, but Heung-min Son has kept us going, kept us in good shape. So yeah, Heung-min Son is my choice there. And I totally understand any answer. There are no wrong answers here. I'm just curious to see what you guys have to say. I knew that one would be a little tough, a little harder to choose than some of the normal ones. So I just wanted to throw that in there. But guys, that is it for Keeper West Ham. Like I said, boom, boom, boom. We're going quick today. But it's time for another segment that I call Hateful Halftime. This is just a period of time where we can hate. We can be haters. We can be rude. We can be mean. We can talk about what we don't like. I like to keep the vibes in here immaculate, happy. I like to be positive. But during Hateful Halftime, this new segment, we don't have to be. We can say whatever we want. We can say, I think Richarlison kind of sucks. I can say Liverpool, and especially Jurgan Klopp, are the saltiest crybabies in the entire world. I'll throw this back up. Salty, salty, salty Liverpool. Oh my God, Adrian Soroka's in the house. What up, Adrian? Nice to see you, man. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Nice to have you here in the chat. You just made it right in time. First of all, Adrian, I want to throw this up there. Keeper West Ham today was Kane versus Son. Who is Mr. Tottenham to you, Adrian Soroka? I'm excited to see your answer. We're gonna keep going ahead with the show, but while we're doing that, get your answer in the chat. And we're here right now, and it is time for a segment that we are calling Hateful Halftime, where you get to kind of be a hater, to voice your opinion, to talk about what we don't like. Liverpool, God, Liverpool were so salty. Top Spurs on that subject. Klopp needs to stop moaning and teach his players to avoid red cards. Offside for their goal was wrong, but shit happens. Get over it, Klopp. 100%, 100%. I've heard there's even calls for the match to be replayed, for a replay of this match. That's absolutely absurd. There's no way we ever agree to that, and I don't think that they can force us to do that. But there have been calls, probably mostly from Liverpool fans and the fan base, and not so much their team. But I mean, what would you guys feel about that if they came out tomorrow and said, "Hey, due to the clear and obvious error by the referee, we are playing another match. We're doing a replay." How would you guys feel? What would what would be going through your minds? I mean, do you see that ever happening? I personally don't. And I would be pretty upset, but I think that we would just come back and spank him in the next fixture just because. NA Beer Talk, though, says when clubs that get all the calls finally get experience what we do every week, I love it. I love it too. We never get the calls going our way. And I wanted to throw this up too. I mean, I'm sure everyone remembers. But look at this. And after that match, Klopp had the gall to say something like, maybe you guys should think of something else, or just basically just let it go, get your mind off of it, and the fact that he can so easily brush aside this, but an incorrect offsides call has him fuming. Also, I cannot understand, and maybe you guys can explain it to me. I cannot understand the reasoning behind people thinking that first red wasn't a red. He literally came down and stomped on his ankle. And I hated Gary Neville in the commentary saying, "Oh, it was the foot rolled over the top of the ball, and he wasn't trying to stomp him." Since when does intent mean anything, right? I mean, that's a new rule in the game. I mean, intent has almost nothing to do with whether or not things are called a foul, whether or not handballs are called. It's if the situation were reversed, I'd be upset. Oh wait, we were screwed last time we played. Yes, exactly, assault. It wasn't ankle, it was clearly shin. Okay, wait. So Eltel, are you one of the ones that you don't agree that it should have been a red card? You know what? I wasn't going to do this because I was trying to hurry today, but you know what? Why? Hey, here. Link is in the chat. But one thing I've got to do is I've got to kind of keep y'all under control. You get a little rowdy on my show, so we've got to rein it in today, be on our best behavior. But everybody is invited. There's the StreamYard link. If you think, if you think that wasn't a red card, I would love to hear why. And here to tell us, and maybe tell us some other things. He tells us lots of things. He was the one that called that there would be a red card in the match this weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Jose from Eltel Cockerell. What is up?
Colin, a shin is higher up than an ankle.
I had my anatomy a little off there. You're right. I didn't get what you were trying to say there, but I do now. Now that things are lost in text at times.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with it. It was a red card because the ankle wouldn't have been a red card per se, but because the ball height on the floor above the ball would have been his shin. So the studding was against his shin. It wasn't low down on the ankle; it was on the shin. So it was a definite red card.
Absolutely, and the fact that they kept going on and on about it, and Gary Neville even said, "Oh, I've done that to people. I've gone in and tried to stomp people, and it doesn't look like that." What an idiot! What an absolute tool. I don't know. I just don't know. But we have somebody else that was wanting to come on the show. Let me see if they're still wanting to come on. Oh. Ooh. Hello? Adrian, mate. Oh, you're in the back room. Yeah, we'll get you on right away. All right, see you, bud. Hey, we've got somebody else here. It's Adrian Soroka. What's up, Adrian?
I'm fine. Thanks for the invite.
Hey, thanks for being here, man.
This VR controversy. Kate, I know you're listening. I posted a Daily Mail article. It's last year's about Liverpool and VAR. Still check out how many times they've benefited with Iggy, because Iggy was doing it verbally, and to be honest, I haven't sourced Iggy, but I trust him because he talks so much sense, So if you're listening, Kate, come on, Kate, come on.
Yeah, Kate, if you got a moment, come visit. I know you're busy, Kate. You just got done doing your shows, and it's a busy day, I'm sure. But if you've got the time to come on and chat for a second, you are more than welcome, Kate.
VAR, right? There's nothing wrong with the technology. It's the humans that are making the decisions, isn't it? But if you go back, the media must love VAR. I mean, like prior to VAR, everyone in this chat should know what football was like prior to VAR, right? If a referee got a decision wrong, it was offside. There'd be it would be shown on Match of the Day in the evening. People would moan about it, and that'd be it, done and dusted. What VAR has done is increase the drama, post-match drama in every game. That's what it's done. The media must love it, And Liverpool have been going on like dime ducks in a fucking thunderstorm, haven't they? You know what I mean? I mean, like they know how to moan better than anyone else out there. It's always the hard done by a scouser, isn't it? We've had if you read that article that I posted in here, in the Mail one, I know it's last year's, and I will talk to Iggy when I get a chance as well. we'll see, you know, they do go on and talk of replaying the game and all that. You get so much desperation with them, don't you? You know, I mean, if you look at previous decisions that have gone their way, the kicking Skip's head,
man,
the Champions League, and all, it was poetic justice. We got to win. It still isn't enough. It still isn't enough to make up for the luck they've had against us in the past. You know,
that Champions League final haunts me to this day, Adrian. I cried. I cried that day, like kind of a lot, embarrassingly a lot, and
to whinge about a game. And before that game, before that offside goal, Spurs had good grounds for a free kick before that even happened, right? There was good grounds for a free kick. So no one's mentioned that at all because they don't want to. They want the controversy and the media want the story to run, right? Gives them more BS to talk about, doesn't it? Especially when it concerns us, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
100%.
So, I mean, personally, I don't care if we keep VAR or it gets ditched. I don't think it'll get ditched because there's got to be money involved in this. It wouldn't be introduced.
Oh, they've paid so much into it too. I think, Adrian.
We haven't adopted the World Cup VAR, which people say is better, but I don't know. You know, so communication was all it was, right? And talk about groan and moan about it. These Liverpool fans, you know what I mean? I think they realised this was such a vital 3 points because Man City lost. I think that it's been like a dagger in their hearts that we beat them. And I'm so pleased we beat them, you know what I mean? So
me too. Really, I don't care how we do it. I'm just happy that it happened, you know?
Yeah, I mean, because go on, Jose.
So up till 6 years ago, and I said this morning on Tottenham on Tour, up till 6 years ago, football was played. You played the game, a bit like Adrian said, your team scores a goal. And when your team scores a goal, the euphoria for the players, they all surround each other, they're all high-fiving, hugging, kissing, doing whatever they do as a team. The fan base are going absolutely garrity because it's a goal, the euphoria is there.
Yes.
VAR, so 6 years ago, that would happen. Offsides, like Adrian said, would be watched on Match of the Day, and it would be just wiped off your shoulder. And the first thing they brought in when they brought in goal line technology, totally agree with it. The buzzer goes to the referee's arm if the goal crosses the line because the linesman or the referee can't see it correctly. That, to me, that was football. In the last 6 years, though, football has been ruined by VAR, whether it's VAR itself or whether it's human error with VAR. It's just ruined the game completely. And to me, I'd rather just go back to the way things were 6 years ago with the goal line technology and just leave it at that. At the end of the day, it's human error. You might get one wrong, a really close call. You might get it wrong. It was onside rather than offside, or you've given offside and it was onside. But you won't get the controversy like you get now with the VAR. You won't get it. You never got it before.
I mean,
now.
Another gripe of mine, I mean, whether it goes or stays, it remains to be seen. But another gripe of mine is the handball, guys. I mean, Dyer gets a handball against him when he's got his back to the goal with his arm up like that, and the ball hits the back, and he isn't even looking, you know. And some of these penalties, where's the spirit of the game that we had in the past? Where's the spirit? If referee made a mistake, that's fair enough, and you saw it match today. Think, okay, fair enough. But at least the game progressed quickly. It wasn't stalled. It's these when it's multiple minutes to make a decision. That's not clear and obvious to me. I mean, if you're going to keep it, introduce the 30-second rule, have a countdown in the stadium, because the referee's got a split second to make a decision, right? The VAR, I think, take as long as they want. There's not even a time limit as far as I know. You know, you could be there half hour later. You know, I know that wouldn't happen, but like I just find VAR difficult to, well, the officials and all that. There's always the questions whether there's any retired officials have got a team bias at all. You can have that. I can understand that. But that should, before you're even employed as a VAR official or the area you've come from, you've lived for, you should be, you know, scrutinised and asked, look, you know, we know you're a ref and ex-ref and all that. What team did you support as a youngster? You like any other teams, foreign or whatever? And they should all be laid down, you know, so you can eliminate that. And as for hint of, you know, there was hints from Jota's girlfriend that if the officials are bribed or whatever like that. Players getting their girlfriends to talk from because they know if they open their mouths, they'll be up for a ban straight away. You can't do that, you know. And the integrity of the game, as a few mentioned in front of Dermot when I went and watched the this podcast clipped on YouTube. You know, one of them with a guy with a Scouse accent. I don't know who it was, and it was a girl with a Scouse accent with him. They're obviously presenters, like so. They're really like sort of giving it to Dermot Gallagher. And I thought, hang about, it's not Dermot's fault. It's just explaining what happened, right? And they went on and are saying the Liverpool statement, the integrity of the game has been no, it hasn't. A mistake has been made. That is all. The integrity of the game has not been undermined, and they want to escalate. And what you want to declare war on the Premier League or something? I mean,
they want a replay, Adrian. That's what they really want.
They're not getting it.
But the thing is, though, I'd question, right, with VAR, how many correct calls are made where VAR doesn't intervene, and how many incorrect calls are made where VAR intervenes? So let's say for the handball for Romero, in real time, the referee said no penalty. Linesman didn't flag, no penalty. However, VAR had to find and had to show them. Yeah. So quite often to me, the VAR is being used for something other than what it should be used for. If it's not a clear and obvious handball and the referee hasn't seen it and he's let the play go on, let the play go on.
A good quote by Rich here. Good post.
Oh yeah. I meant to go over that for sure.
And also, as Kate said very early on her podcast, which I totally agree with. I mean, Liverpool shot themselves in the foot with the sending offs. You know, that's their lack of discipline. I'll tell you what, I noticed something similar in that half. They started better than us. Great double save from Vicario. They could have scored a couple early on, right? Like Man United did, and they did the same thing. I noticed coming towards the latter stages of the first half, they started to get rattled and get bookings like Man United did in the home game, right? It wasn't going their way, you know, as if everyone's supposed to, you know, roll over and have bellies tickled because it's Liverpool. Well, it didn't happen. This team is not a Spurs team of old, you know, and we kept going. You know, we kept going, and Porro had his best game in the Spurs shirt.
I wanted to mention Porro. Yeah, we talked about how he couldn't defend, and look at how he did.
Romero both had a 94% pass accuracy. Udogie did well to contain Salah. I thought Salah still played well, but Udogie eliminated most of his threat, and obviously Vicario. I mean, a confident commander,
what a gem
with an accurate throw. He throws the ball out quickly and gets the game moving quickly. Bit like Jennings, Jose. Bit like Pat Jennings would keep the game. Whereas Lloris would diver on the ball, would roll it around the penalty area. You think, well, fuck, get rid of it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, he'd be like that, wouldn't he? So, like, different. Yeah. Didn't think. And we've got in the first half, I don't know if you see it the same as me because we have different perceptions of the game when we're excited or if we're watching favourite players or patterns of play and all that. I didn't think we spread the ball evenly in the first half. We started to give it a Kulu a lot on the right. And on the left, there was a good few times when Richarlison was free.
He was free, wasn't he?
He was free, and a good ball could have got him now. I hope that's nothing to do with players not want to pass him the ball or just equate like just, you know, different decisions made, like, you know.
Yeah, when it could have gone down the left when he had space, because he was behind Gomez a few times, they still went back to the right, didn't they? They didn't go down the left when he had space. And
I feel like Gomez was there to exploit. He's you know what I mean? He's not a traditional fullback. We really could have exploited, I feel like, that side. But you guys are right. Do you think? I mean, so Adrian kind of alluded to it, but do you think that the players are hesitant to pass to Richarlison? Do you think that it's become that? Because that's bad. If it's gotten to that point, then it's not good. I remember, you know, in the past, it seems like we would refuse to pass to Sissoko. I mean, it's happened. We've seen it happen before. Adrian, Jose, do you think that that's what it was? Do you think?
No, I think they're on the training pitch. They've got patterns of play that they were ready for, and the patterns of play obviously included Kulu a lot more than it included Richie, because
Kulu played so well, by the way.
Richie did get the ball sometimes because he set up Son's goal, didn't he? And he set up the disallowed goal as well, I believe. So, or he got the passes, the assists for both of them. Now, so in some situations, Richie was put in, but there were situations where they preferred the right-hand side to the left-hand side. I don't think it's because they didn't want to pass to him. I just think that the patterns of play that they've been working on were more based, on Kulu rather than.
No, they might have thought the Liverpool. They might have discussed something tactically. We don't know. Maybe Liverpool. They might have thought they were a bit weaker on the on the Kulusevski side than on. And I think if Brennan Johnson had been fit, I still think because it's Liverpool, and you're looking at Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City as the main contenders for the title. You know, we're the dark horse, basically. We're dark horses. But like on the right hand side, Richie could have been put in. I don't know, and perhaps would have played just to shore it up because it is Liverpool and they are a threat everywhere, and their bench is much better than ours, you know. And like, so I don't know. We can only surmise about these things and speculate.
But with the players that we've got playing wing system, so Kulu and Richie, they're on their weaker side, so they've got to cut in. So I think that the onus is on Porro to get further forward than Richie, and for Destiny to get further forward than whoever plays on the left-hand side. However, what I would like to see is we've got enough wingers. I'd like to see a bit like he did at Celtic. At Celtic, he had players that played wide that got past the player down to the line and put the ball into the box. Even though it was low into the box, Kyogo got a hat full of goals. Now, so the amount of goals that we're going to get from the 6-yard box this year is all very dependent on us getting the ball into that 6-yard box from the wide areas, as we showed with Son's goal and the disallowed goal. But I just feel that, I mean, our winning goal came because Porro overlapped and put the ball into the box, because Kulu was coming back on the ball. Richie was, apart from the couple he put in, Richie was coming back as well and not going past the man. And if anything, Richie went past the man probably 3-4 times in the game. Kulu didn't go past the man once.
No, he worked hard though. He held the ball. Yeah. He's always got 2 men on him, so he draws the players to him. So if he can lay a ball off, we should have a spare man somewhere along the line, you know. But the other thing, good point, Jose. But another thing I noticed, the difference between Sheffield United at home, I know they're not as good a side as Liverpool, and Liverpool, right? But Liverpool had 2 players sent off. We had much more urgency against Sheffield United. We seemed to move the ball a lot more quicker when we were looking to get equaliser and the goal. And for some reason, we seem to, because Liverpool had 9 men, we tend to relax a little bit on the ball. We didn't move it as quick. And the other thing I noticed that we were doing, when Solomon and all that are getting down to the wings, you know, if there's nothing on, rather than try and take a player on and get a penalty or something, right? Try get the free kick, right? They kept passing it back to Maddison and Basuma, right? Now, I'm not against that. They are cracking midfield players. But I just thought, vary the play. Every time you're passing it back, you're passing it back. Now, I know you might have an option and you have to do that sometimes, but we did it too much. I mean, we have to also be used to playing without Basuma. He's on 4 yellow cards. He's going to get 1 in the next 13 games before the amnesty, right? So I don't know how many games you missed for 5, whether it's 1 or 2, I don't know. So we're going to miss him. But if he can stay just for the next couple of weeks, then we'll have Gil and Sessegnon back, and Lo Celso probably. They'll be back, right? So they'll be back. They'll be match fit in 2-3 weeks. So like,
I saw Solomon when they brought Alexander on, and we brought Solomon on. I saw Solomon beat Alexander 3 times and not get the crossing because they'd gone back to a back 5. So their centre half was coming out towards Solomon. So, but Solomon, you're quite right. When Solomon had the ball, even though he took the player on, he didn't cross it in. He then cut back and he went back across zone 14, as we call it, to the 3 midfielders that were camped outside the box. And all we were doing, it was passing it side to side. For about 10 minutes, we passed it side to side, side to side, side to side. And it was only in the last 15 seconds that the one player was Porro, who just went down and put the ball in. Had we done that a bit more, I'm not saying we would have scored goals, but it would have made Liverpool think, okay, this is easy. This side by side and coming back on themselves is easy for them to defend.
So you're 100% right. And we did make it easy for them. We didn't vary our play enough at the end there. And I think as much as we praised Decky, I think Decky had a good game. I think he played well. I do think that he's a bit predictable. And I wanted to know what you guys thought about that. I mean, he needs to learn how to, put in a cross with his right foot. He constantly will dribble down that side and then cut back in on his left and look, like you said, look for the pass, look to, get center of the ball. And it's just not it's not going to work every time. And players know. Yeah,
he's a good player, Colin. Let's have it straight. Kulusevski is a good player. Kulusevski's an important cog, like Adrian said, and Adrian goes to the games. Adrian can sit there live. Kulusevski takes 2 players with him all the time, everywhere he goes.
Oh yeah. I don't know how he slips out of there sometimes either. You know what I mean? He just can just.
Sometimes he's got 3 players. All I'm saying is, for me, if we're going to play with inverted players in the 2 wide areas, and Destiny and Porro are not going to get past them, then maybe switch our players over from time to time so they can become natural wingers, get to the line if your other players can't go beyond you. I get
what you're saying.
I just think we need to switch it up a little bit. We've got the players to do it. The tools are in the box. Trust me, they're in the box. It's just picking that right tool out of the box. We've got the tools there.
We're going to need one or more of Gil, Sessegnon, and Lo Celso. I mean, they're going to be here to the end of the season, whatever happens. So we are where we are with the squad, right? If Ange can get a tune out of one or more of them, that'll be a big bonus because, 13 games, I think, till January. The good thing with the injured players is after Luton, we got the international break, haven't we? So how many days that is? Is that 10 again? Or what?
Yes, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
We're not playing from the 7th of October till the 21st.
Well, that's a big bonus then, because the bonus on that is the fact that those 3 players will be fit. I mean, Lo Celso will probably still go away with the Argentinian squad. He'll probably get injured, so we'll be looking at Sessegnon and Gil, to come back or whatever. Mind you, he might not go if he's not quite fully up to speed, But I feel for Sessegnon. I hope Ange can. If he don't, he gets sold. It's like a lot of these players. They've got this season, haven't they? Even Lo Celso got to make his mind up. He wants to stay or go to Spain, back to Real Betis, Barcelona, all those clubs that have been interesting. Gil the same. Prior when Conte was in it, he wanted to go, but the way these players are jumping off the bench when we're winning games, you think there must be a cracking atmosphere among that squad. The team spirit must be fantastic.
So Top Spurs has just looked up and put it down there. I think Basuma could fall into all 3 categories.
Really?
Yeah.
Basuma,
two of his
sure hope not.
Two of his 4 yellows have been for dissent. So it's not that he's bad tackling people. It's been for dissent. And the reason why I called red card last week, and I said there'd be a red card in the game for Liverpool.
You knew it.
The reason why I said that is because the engine that we've got in our midfield will always go past people. They'll always go past people. Basuma likes taking on players. Sarr is a flick, and he goes. Maddison, his feet are so quick that he can get past players, or he can go throw his shoulder. He go one way, and the opponent will take him out the other way. So that's why I knew there's going to be more. I don't know the stats at the moment, but our midfielders must be as a 3, one of the most fouled group of people in that Premiership, and it will continue.
And to add to that, Jose, I've seen a lot of tackles from behind on our players, and nothing's been done. Nothing's been done about it. And the foul throws in the game are just ridiculous, the amount of them I see. In all games, I see them,
So there'll be more red cards, Colin. I just called Liverpool because I know Liverpool like to nibble at you. But there'll be more red cards against Tottenham players if we carry on with the midfielders we've got. We'll have more because we move the ball, and when we move around the pitch, and let's face it, when I played football, the worst thing I hate, and I still play now, is having to chase someone around the pitch all day. I hate it.
yeah. Just clip them, give them one, so they know you're there. Exactly. But you were saying that there'll be more red cards. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing or a bad thing, because you saw how we played once they all sat back and packed the box. I kind of hope that. I don't know. I mean, we need to be.
Yeah, we're only 7 games in, Colin, and.
What
I put in the comments, I think I did it on yours, and I did it on everyone's that I could because I was with my grandchildren. I just put down, we take the win, 1 more week on the training pitches, and then on to Luton. For me, it's important. The week that we've got in between matches, for me, is vitally important because you have to instill confidence into these players. You have to work on the patterns of play. It gives them time to do things. That's the luxury we have this season. Is not being in the Europe. We've got the luxury to train, educate the team the way that we need educating, and we're probably ahead of where we thought we'd be because of that element alone, not having to play 2 games every week. Now, I'm sure that Ange, he's no mug, he would have taken what happened on Saturday and he'd be working on that, maybe not 100% of the time, but he'll put that into his pool of work for the week to show players, this is what I want you to do if we fall into this scenario again. Right.
Right.
they'll just work hard. The importance is how much we work in between games during the week.
Definitely.
Well,
definitely.
we got Luton next away, which I'll come back to in a minute, and then I think we've got Fulham, Palace, and then Chelsea. We want the full team out against Chelsea. So if Bazoma's going to get his ban, take a yellow card in the game before 2 games before Chelsea, you know what I mean, and get one tactically.
It's only one. Yeah, it's only one game ban though for yellow.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's only one. So you can
Chelsea.
take it.
So it's not so bad, the 1 game ban. I was wondering with the Luton game is whether
Maddison and
Son was
play.
match fit before the game. Neither was Maddison.
Son was starting to look like a hamstring injury.
Them away to Luton, or would you think it'd be best to rest him at a home game, right, and bring them on? I mean, they'd still be on the bench,
right?
But
I'd rest him against
Johnson, Kulusevski. You could play Richarlison in the middle.
You could play Veliz. I said it last week. I said we're going to see Veliz.
Veliz a game there. I mean, I don't know how good Luton are. They won, didn't they? The weekend, so
they play a 3-5-2, Adrian.
I don't know nothing about them. I know that Ross Barkley's with them now, but that's about all I know.
He didn't play. He didn't
Interesting.
Start
I did not know that.
He didn't start the weekend, but they play with a 3-5-2, and they're basically a team of battlers, so to speak. They haven't got any. I don't believe they've got any all-round skill ability like that, but they're a team of. They're 11 battlers, is what they are.
That's good. I mean, that'll take you far in a season, especially as a promoted team. I mean, that's really all you've got at times to compete against the teams that have more money, that have better players. So that is something that does worry me. In the past, those are the types of teams that would have given us a lot of trouble. But now we've got these two beautiful guys here. Yeah. Adrian, you were at the match. So you can maybe tell us. You maybe had like a nice little bird's eye view, or maybe you were even closer than that. But how do you think these two are getting on? I mean, I think they're forming a wonderful partnership, which
I don't know
which we haven't seen.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys did. You stream the game, used to?
Yeah. I watched it live on Sky. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Fine. So I stream. I cheat. I don't play. Right. So
same.
You will have noticed a few times that if we hadn't had Mickey van der Ven, Liverpool would have been in. And some of you
go, yes, his pace is insane
on his side. Because Van der Ven, he got to one run when he just caught up with someone, I thought, and he got there ahead of him, even a yard ahead of him. I thought, God, you've got some pace. You know what I mean?
Is that Ledley King out there?
Spurs fans, and they're going, we think Van der Ven's better than Romero. I still think Romero's got a great pass on him. He used to step into midfield in Italy, and he has got it's a more direct forward pass on him. But
I think Van der Ven's got that as well, Adrian. But Van der Ven's allowing Romero to do it for the time being. The more the season goes on, I think we're going to see Van der Ven doing that as well.
And
I said it last week as well. Sorry, Adrian. I said it last week as well. Yeah. Van der Ven is our blanket. He gets not only on the left, he goes right across to the right as well. So he is the safety blanket that we have at the back. He'll cover left and right equally.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. His pace has definitely saved us.
Yeah,
because multiple times already.
But then with Vicario in goal as well, we have got Vicario gives calmness to those around him. The way that he plays and the way that he doesn't shout and scream and holler at people, but the way he talks to defenders and that, he gives calmness to the back four. We have got the most improved back five that I've seen of anyone in a number of years. Because the
double save was excellent by Vicario.
As a unit, the back five that we've got have been absolutely impressive, and that needs to be noted. For the whole 7 games, they've been absolutely impressive.
And Van der Ven sort of holding the fort has allowed you'll have seen Romero go forward virtually to the penalty area. Progress forward to sort of add a bit extra in midfield. Porro impressed me. I have to eat my words on Porro because, I did my player ratings. I give the whole back 4 and 8, and I gave Vicario 7 just for the double save. But Porro, you could, there was an excuse for giving him a 9, really. But
phenomenal. He had a phenomenal game. I think I saw someone say he had 8 key tackles.
Apart from Richarlison, who gave us 6, and I thought that might have been a bit harsh because he did put in a shift.
Yeah, but Beer Talk saying that hopefully Cess.
Exactly. I was going to pull that up. Okay, so there was a question from Audio Artisan, first of all. and he was saying that where would you guys use Sessegnon? Attack or defense? Honestly, doesn't know what his best position is at this point. It's a good point. We've had him sitting on the bench for so long, not having game time. I don't think he knows what his best position is right now.
He's versatile, isn't he? He got that goal against Bayern Munich, didn't he? When he was looking good. I think Conte and Mourinho, they destroyed his confidence. He was frightened to take a player on. Either that or his confidence was shot, or maybe a combination of both. When I see him play against the Man City away game, when we lost that game one time at Man City, he dealt well with Foden and Jesus, who was there at the time, who are a handful on the ball coming forward. He had another good game. I think against Liverpool, I'm in one game, he played really well.
Honestly, I'm having
he's
trouble
a talent,
remembering.
But he's got to do it, isn't he? It's like, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to throw any of the Spurs players under the bus because we've got them for this season. At the end of the season is when you should be assessed and decided, or coming to the end of the season, engine is cruise ship. It's like, nah, we don't want him. We know Lloris and Dyer will go. We might get some money from. Højbjerg might go. But it's got to be one out and one in. You just can't get rid of the midfield and all that unless you're bringing in. Yeah, Kate, he was excellent. I have to eat my words. Yeah. And he's still susceptible to that cross to the far post when he's at the back.
He's not looking behind him.
He looks as though he's positioned a bit too inverted. I know they do it early in the box. You think, why isn't he wider and all that? But that's to narrow the space, to stop people playing through you. But and on the press. And the thing about the press, Birkinshaw mentioned this, Jose. I don't even remember. He said, when teams sit back against Odegaard, Dealers and Villa, you shots from outside the box, which we tried. We did try a few. So obviously that was part of the plan. And our dealers used to say when they're crowded in the box, late runs into the box. Because
Dele would drive.
You're not. Gatko got all that time to swivel and score that goal. That is questionable the way we conceded that goal, as far as I'm concerned.
Where did he get injured? He was hobbling after. Where did he get injured? Because I heard the Liverpool supporters, saying that we had fouled him or we'd contributed to his injury prior to him scoring the goal.
I don't think so. I think he hurt himself.
I don't recall seeing a tackle on him in the area or anywhere outside the area leading up to that goal where he would have picked up an injury.
There was some shoulder to shoulder action, but no, he wasn't kicked at. He you know what I mean? There was no tackle, so to speak. He had an open, you know what I mean, that the shot was completely uncontested. So yeah, I don't think that we hurt him, and I think the Liverpool fans could go do one.
I think Diaz has got a bit of a hot head on the quiet. In the early stages of the game, I said to the guy, he's getting booked. I don't know if he did. I said, he's getting booked. And I said, if he gets booked, it wouldn't surprise me. I said, the way some players just start a bit fire at the beginning of the game, I actually thought he might get sent off.
Gatko likes putting his foot in. Nunes, Diaz, Jota, McAllister, Jones. The only one Slobber's he doesn't normally do tackles and stuff like that. But somebody, Robertson likes to put a tackle in. So they've got players there that like nipping and like putting tackles in and like playing that way, on the level. I don't think Van Dijk's like that. Matip's not like that, and Gomez. But the others, and Slobber's the others though, yeah, they're open to it.
Yeah, I could see it. And I don't know much about McAllister except for from the World Cup. That's where I got my introduction to him.
He's a good player, McAllister, very good player, and he likes putting his foot in. He likes getting a tackle in. He really does.
Hey, keep doing it against us.
Going back to the Luton game. Sorry, going back to the Luton game. When I watched the highlights of the Everton game, which they beat Everton 2-1 at the weekend, Everton lost obviously, but the amount of chances that they had with Calvert-Lewin and the Portuguese fella Beto when he came on in the air. They were absolutely murdering their defence in the air. And that's what I'm saying, that Veliz could be an important player, or is equally as important. If Son needs to be rested, I would consider putting Veliz in that position against Luton.
I think if that is the case, if there's a doubt about Son, it is Luton. We can always bring Son on, right? We're not playing Liverpool, Man United, or Arsenal, are we? So, like, I think, well, Richarlison must be doing something in training. He's still got to show a lot more to earn a place as a squad member before the season ends, isn't he? You know, he's because, like, you know, it should turn for him because, like, I'm hopeful. The reason I'm hopeful is that any of our front three, whoever the permutation of our front three is, should be able to score goals under the End system. It's not like we're getting 1 or 2 chances a game like we did under Mourinho and Conte. We're having like 20 chances a game or more, you know? So even Decky, who I'm a big fan of, right, should start adding more assists and goals, right? His record's pretty good. I think it's every other game he's contributed, but he did it most in a streaky clusters, you know, when he first came to us. So he's got to add to that. He is the outball for us because Son, look, against a low block, Son as a number 9, questionable because he gets pushed off the ball, you know, against Brentford away. When it works for him, fans will rightly say, yeah, keep him in the middle, keep him in the middle. I think Son's best in the middle anyway, but I'm not sure he's the right pick to play in the middle every game against all the opposition. When we're away from home, fine with it because he's going to get pace at times. He's going to be able to use his pace in the last third, not from the halfway line, to run inside, isn't he? And like get a chance, and he's our best finisher, so you play him. It's not apart from Burnley, whatever permutation we've had as a front three they haven't all clicked, have they? When they do, we're going to spank someone. We're going to spank someone. We'll get.
And we still got 2 goals a game. Average of 2 goals. Well, it's just over 2 goals a game. So we're not doing badly. I understand what Adrian's saying because you made this comment on another show as well, Adrian. So I think you said it yesterday. You was on the show yesterday and you said it.
Yeah, and
I understand it.
And look,
real quick.
Go on.
Oh, sorry. I said I'm changing. That was something. But hey, I'm changing the subject just a tiny bit here. But I just want to get Todd Spurs' comment. He says he can't wait to see Bentancur back fully fit. Just hoping he can get back to his best. Of course, we'll add some more quality to our midfield depth, and we're going to need it. African Cup of Nations, we're going to lose both Sarr and Basuma.
If he's fit before that, I'm bringing him in before that.
Yeah.
You think for Sarr, right? Obviously,
it doesn't. You can change your permutations because you can play Maddison further up as well. There's so many different things that you can do. It's just another body. The front 6, we have got so many different options for the front 6, and he just adds another option. If
I honestly think Maddison could play that role that Eriksen played, that played on the wing but drifted inside type of player. I think Maddison would be great there. Obviously, we need him in that 10 role. We need somebody in that 10 role. He's pretty much the only player that we've got at the moment. But yeah, I mean, somebody else comes up through the academy. We get some of our academy lads up through here. You know, I don't know. I just think that he could really add to his goal tally. You know, if he plays a little further up the pitch, I think him on the right him on the left cutting in on his right would be pretty dangerous.
Currently we have, if you want to look at midfield alone, we currently have 7 midfielders for only three places. When Bentancur comes back, that'll make it 7 midfielders for three spaces.
That including Lo Celso.
Yeah, Lo Celso, Bentancur, Højbjerg, Skip, and the 3 that play at the moment. You'd have 7 options for midfield, and I'm not including Hill. I'm leaving Hill as one of the top 3. Veliz is one of the top 3. Solomon. So you've got at least 6 options for the front 3. We have got so many options for the front 6. We have got options galore. So whatever Ange decides to do against.
We got options galore, but we're just not sure of the quality of all of them. Like, you know, I mean, Solomon did very well against Burnley. He showed flashes before. He was okay against Liverpool. I mean, he's got talent. We need to see more from him. We need to see more from Cooley. Definitely see that needs a lot more from Richie. Definitely see a lot more from him. So really, we got the one quality striker in Son, really, because he's a striker as such. And we're hoping Villas is going to do the business. But
he's the man. I'm telling you, he's the man. Watch Villas in the future. He's the man.
I was so mad that we weren't. I was so mad that when he came on, we didn't put any crosses in towards his head. We really didn't play to his strengths at all. I know that, you know, he just came on in the final few minutes, but it just seems like it would have made sense to fire a couple crosses at him. I know, though, they were playing with 3 central defenders. They were all big boys. So maybe, there was some strategy there. It might not have been the most.
Luton played with three at the back, 3 centre halves, 3 tall commanding centre halves they play with. Yet Calvert-Lewin and Beto, the crosses were going into them, and they were eating them. They were eating their defenders for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They just didn't get, over the bar, goalkeeper saves, gone wide, but they murdered them in the air. Them 2 players, Calvert-Lewin and Beto, absolutely murdered their 3 centre halves in the air.
Mm.
But we, in order to do that, you need people across the ball. And the one thing we haven't got is people across the ball at the moment.
Poro's got a cross on him. You're right. He's not doing it too often. And then obviously we're really missing Perisic. I think Perisic would have been, would have been an awesome player to bring in with Valise, as they would have been a great pair to bring in together, sort of how we were doing Perisic and Richarlison.
Yeah, Perisic is a miss because as an impactful sub, he was doing quite well. It's very impactful because you can remember what he'd done on every game that he came on. So yeah, he's going to be a miss. He definitely is going to be a miss.
Absolutely. One thing, I'll drop this in a second. I just got to ask one more question about the center back partnership. I'll pull them back up real quick. Do you guys think that we have a chance at having a Vertonghen and Alderweireld-esque partnership here? I mean, I don't know if they'll reach that height because they haven't been playing together. They're like basically entire lives, like Toby and Yan. But I mean, I don't know. Do you think I think we've got our center back partnership for years and years and years to come now. They're both young men. They complement each other nicely. I think they're going to be our starters for years. You guys think we're finally? I think we've been struggling in the center back, position to find quality players, players that are going to kind of bring us to that next level. And I think we've got them.
Right, to me, they're for speed, they're a quicker partnership than Vertonghen and Toby were, and passing and playing from out the back, I think they're better than the other 2 were. However, not one of them can ping a ball. I've not seen one of them ping a ball like
Toby used to.
Yeah. Toby could ping a ball on a sixpence, crossfield balls or straight up to the top on a sixpence to the strikers quite comfortably. I've not seen that from these 2, but they're 2 ball playing centre halves is what they are, and that's what we've got. We've got 2 ball playing centre halves. Gone are the days, Adrian, if in doubt, boot it out. These 2 don't seem to do it, do they?
No. And they are quick, and I've got no problems with them at all. I think they're just as good as that previous pairing, which is some saying for so early in the season, isn't it? I've seen Romero rarely hit them long angle balls. Rarely do it. I've seen him do it.
It does know you might have it in his locker. Yeah, I agree.
I think there's a good chance that we will add to it, even though we've got Ashley Phillips on the bench and Dyer. I think there's still a good chance we might get Adebayo for Fulham because he's in his last year in January, 6 months to go.
He never got that move to Monaco, I guess. I know that he was pushing for that.
He didn't
he didn't go to Monaco. I think there was an argument over money.
And I don't think he's been in the squad for Fulham either at all. Yeah, I don't
know if he's been left out. I haven't followed him.
He's been left out. My brother-in-law supports Fulham, and so does his son. And his son's a season ticket holder. And I don't think Adebayo has played 1 game or 1 minute for them this season.
Not got a long-term injury then, or nothing like that. It's just been spited because they know he's leaving. Well, he's obviously told him he's going. He's obviously told him he's going. So they think,
I've not heard he's got an injury.
You need to build the team without him. And I get that with teams when they do that, even if they do it partly in spite, But the other centre-back we looked at ages ago, it was about our 16th choice last season, Lloyd Kelly. But that was because he's captain at Bournemouth and he had an injury. So, and we were looking at him before because he's quick.
I don't know him. I don't know him at all.
But I think Ange likes him. 1, part me be another left-footed centre-back, and 2, he can also play at left-back. So regarding the Sessegnon situation, I don't know. I mean, Ange ideally he really wanted Tapsoba, but Tapsoba's signed a new contract. but he can ping a ball, Jose. You must have watched Tapsoba play.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
He can. I mean, he's fast, and he's 6'4", 6'5", or something like that as well. He's over 6 foot anyway.
Do you want to know the irony? I'll give you the irony. Is
on,
we were looking at Galatasaray centre half, weren't we?
Victor Nelson, who's in the news again, which is BS. That's a BS story. I'll tell you why in a minute.
I don't know about the news. All I was going to say is that Davidson's gone there, and Davidson has now replaced Nelson because Davidson has started the last 2 games, and Nelson's been left on the bench. So it's just the irony that apparently we were looking at Nelson, and Davidson's gone there and displaced him.
Yeah,
they're well pleased with Davidson. That's what I've been hearing so far.
Yeah. And the other thing is, of course, you're getting these stories now months before the transfer window, and you've got to be wary of them because, like, when these
what's the story? I've not heard it, mate.
Oh, Turkish media reporting that Spurs are in for Victor Nelson again and all that. Well, I'm not having it. Not why Galatasaray in the Champions League. You've got to take into consideration the competitions these players are still in with their clubs and whether they're within a chance of winning a trophy. And that will be on a player's mind when they reach the January window. If they think they can win something with their club or they're going to do something a bit special win the domestic leagues and cups, they ain't going to want to go. And we didn't. We could have got Victor Nelson last year if we really wanted him. Galatasaray were trying to push him out. He sort of said he wants to go. He'd love to come to Spurs. Well, yeah, I understand that. But like, we could have got him, and we could still get him if we really wanted him. But I don't think I've seen him. Good defender. Not sure about pace.
The other irony is my belief is from watching the Turkish league. My belief is that Galatasaray will win the league. I don't think Fenerbahce or Besiktas. Besiktas are not the same team they were last year. Fenerbahce are nowhere near as strong. I think Galatasaray are going to cakewalk that league, which means that we're going to have a boy who would have won 2 trophies in 2 different countries on 2 loans.
Yikes.
Although Endon Bailey didn't get on the pitch again at the weekend, they preferred other people to him, so he didn't get on the pitch. He was an unused sub, and I think he might have been an unused sub last week in their midweek game as well. The last time he came on was when Galatasaray drew 2-2 in the Champions League, where he came on for about the last 20 minutes or so when they were 2-0 down. And I
was going to say, they made the comments about him not being fit. I think maybe second half of the season we might see a bit more of him if he can get with that dietitian that they recommended. And
did you hear one of the? I mean, I didn't see it and I didn't, but I've heard it and read about it. That one of the pundits from television pundits viewing the Galatasaray game, and he'd made an appearance in one game, and I think it might have been the Galatasaray game, and they said, oh my God, when you're on a diet and when you're meant to lose weight, it should show that you've lost weight. But this guy, in 3 days since he last played, looks like he's gained weight.
The commentator said that? That's perfect. That's hilarious.
That was the commentator talking about him 3 days after he'd first seen him, saying, you thought that he'd been on a training regime and he'd lose weight. He actually looks heavier today than what he did when he played on Saturday.
That's the difference between the Turkish commentators and the British commentators. I don't feel like we'd hear that in a Premier League game.
No, they're not afraid to say it, the Turkish, are they?
No, not at all. Kate, just real quick.
Adarabioyo, I think he's 6'5", isn't he? What's his size?
Yeah, he's about 6 foot.
He's a big boy. He says
the Man City Academy, didn't he?
Nelson's temperament, though, is questionable to her. And see, that's something again that I'm going to kind of have to defer to you guys since I don't know much about the lad. But yeah, I mean, if he's got a questionable temperament, I mean, so does Romero, but we've seen him kind of start to grow out of that. I think that's something that can be coached out of a player pretty easily. You can't teach, talent, but you can definitely teach people how to work on their temperament. So that alone isn't like enough for me to say I don't want him at Spurs, but
I
still,
it
is something to be wary about.
I mean, obviously, I can watch Galatasaray in the Champions League because I've got BT Sport as well as Sky Sports, so I can watch that without going onto the questionable channels to find games like other people do. But I've done that in the past.
On the open seas.
I've watched some. I do watch some of the football in that, and I've got to be honest. Nelson hasn't impressed me. When I've seen him play, he hasn't impressed me. So
he's not quick enough range.
I can't see the hype. Do you see what I mean? I can't see the hype.
If I was going for a centre back, if we couldn't get, I'd love Tapsoba. I don't mind Adrabaro or what I've seen of Lloyd Kelly. He's quick. He is quick, and he's captain down there, I think. But if you just wanted a very good defender who's solid, that pair of shirts, he throws himself in blocks. He doesn't wait. He's very proactive. If it's him or the goalkeeper going to go for the ball, he just goes.
He's playing in Italy, isn't he?
Torino, I think.
But he plays as a 6 for them, don't he? Don't play as a centre half.
Well, the video I see of him, unless he's changed.
Did we lose?
The video I see of him, I've seen him like he's close down. He throws his body on a good defender, but I'm not sure again how good on the ball he is or whatever. Same with Nelson. I don't think Angie's going to have anyone who's not good on the ball.
Yeah,
he's not. I mean, even Ashley Phillips is good on the ball. So is Dorrington. You know what I mean? I mean, like, and they're flying the under-21s. I mean, but I don't see Ange would look if we got. I wouldn't mind paying 60, 65 million for Tapsoba.
Do you think Tapsoba would come though, knowing that he might not start every match? I mean, in a season where we've only got one game a week, where we've got a partnership in Romero and Van de Ven.
But we're looking to have more than one game a week next year, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll easily have more than one game. I mean, Tapsoba's just signed a new contract with him, isn't he? I don't know, it was a 5-year or something like that. So, and in January, you know how hard it is to get quality players out from their clubs if they're struggling and got relegation, or if they've got injuries, or if they've got a chance of winning a competition. They're not going to part with their players. So we hope that the new setup, which is really good at Spurs, we hope that they've got the list of all these players, even though the DF hasn't joined us yet, right? Who's got to fit in with the system now. Because when I watched the Stelios Spurs We Are Tottenham TV video, if you get a chance to watch that, Stelios went to the ground because he's a coach. Anyway.
He
went there with Brian Daigle, I think. And he was asking questions to the academy coaches. Why is Sarr, blah, blah, blah. Well, because Sarr's fitter than Skip, so he gets in the team. And they're asking questions about the setup. And they were saying that, look, now, this is all through Paratici, by the way. Now, all them the teams, the younger teams, will all play like the first team. The football philosophy that Ange has brought to the club will be the Tottenham way forward. And everything's going to be geared to that. So in future, if we bring a manager in, it's not going to be a Conte or Marina type manager.
Right.
We're under the understanding. Our philosophy is if and when Ange, let's hope he's here 8 years, because then we know we've won loads of trophies, right? So if and when Ange goes, he won't be here forever. You know, let's hope he's got a long career with us and signs another contract or whatever, because he does well. But if he goes, we'll only bring in. We will be bringing in the right fit, not when Levy lied to us before and said, you know, I'm going to bring in this type of manager. We're going to play this way, and we didn't. You know, we went for game show host managers. You know what I mean? Because if you're a big club, you should have a superstar manager or a game show, a shiny manager in a sequin game show host jacket. You know what I mean? Like,
I need one of those to keep West Ham.
It's just rubbish. You know, you have to. We've always had
some sad news has just come through.
Oh no,
Franny Lee has died.
Oh, Francis Lee, great player.
Yeah, Francis Lee. Yeah, they've just announced that he's passed away.
Played in a great Man City side in the past.
We'll do a moment of silence. Just a moment. All right. Sorry that he passed. I'm not super familiar. You were saying, Adrian, he played in an awesome Man City side.
Yeah, when Malcolm Allison and Joe Mercer were there. Yeah, I mean, like,
he was a great player. He was a very good player before his time as well. He was
rest in peace. Rest in peace to the lad. That is sad. That is sad news. But guys, so Tot Spurs had a question. I had it started for a while. I know we need more, but if we do sign players in January and only get 2, what positions and who would you like brought in? I'll start. I think that if we bring in players that we definitely need, I think we need a left back. But I guess if Sessegnon can come in and do it, then maybe we're safe there. But I mean, the thought of you, Doggy, going down and us having Ben Davis, as much as I love Ben Davis, I don't want him as our left back playing. You know what I mean? Playing most games. So I think that if Sessegnon's not going to cut the mustard, then we bring in another left back, and then I also think that central defender would be the position I would go for. But then again, I think with Ashley Phillips, I don't think we would have brought him in and pushed so hard to get him if he wasn't going to feature in the first team. I think that they've obviously got a lot of faith in him. So yeah, I tentatively am saying fullback and center back. I don't know who exactly I would go for as of yet. What about you, gentlemen?
You want me to go?
Sure. Okay. Yeah, go for it.
I think the first priority will be, because you rightly mentioned, Colin, we've got Ben Davies and we've got Sessegnon. So they're not going anywhere, right? But we do need a main priority should really be a left-footed centre-back, even if we have to spend big. Now, we could get Adarabioyo on the cheap. Lloyd Kelly would cost money. If Bournemouth are in the relegation zone, I don't see Bournemouth parting him for love. Yeah. If we can only get one in, now let's hope they looked at centre backs that are under the radar of other clubs, and for clubs that are getting rid of. We know we could go and get Victor Nelson if we want him. We could probably get Per Schurz, although I think he's a good defender. I don't think he suits Ange's system, and neither does Nelson. But Tapsoba would be great. If Bayer Leverkusen, I don't know how their season's going. They're probably mid-table or something like that. I heard. I don't know. I haven't checked it. For the right money, the Germans will sell. They will sell because then for the money. The reason they got him on a 5 years, they want the 60 mil for him or whatever. At his age, he's young as well, isn't he? They're not going to get much more for him. I would like, although he's not left-footed, I'm sure he's not. Hincapié is, though. He's left-footed.
Leverkusen's first in the league right now, by the way.
Are they? Oh well, that's
on 16 points. Yeah. So that is
rubbish. Then okay, I would like because Tapsoba is so good. He's so good at putting them long angle balls out to the wing, like Alderweireld did. He's probably even better than Alderweireld at it actually. And he's tall and quick,
strong. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Maybe that could be a go for in the summer. What other centre backs they got at Leverkusen there?
Great question. I can find out.
Is Taran and Hincapié
there? Jonathan Tar's there.
Tar's there, and
he was a name that you heard a lot about a couple of years ago. Tar, yeah. But I haven't heard much about him lately.
I can't remember. I would have looked at Hincapié at the same time.
Yeah. So, Jose, you got any good ideas? You cooking up anything in that?
Do you know what? I'm just thinking if we can bring two players in the winter, I think that we have a bit like in the other positions, we have multiple. We have multiple purpose players, but I think we've got that in defence as well. It may not be the best, but we've got multiple purpose players. So you've got Sessegnon, you're quite right. You've got Davis there as well. You've got Emerson Royale there. So your left and right can be covered. And centre
wants the word out of the club is Ange wants another centre back.
Okay, so I was just going to say that with that being said, and Ashley Phillips to me is the person to cover the centre halves. I think he's the one that is there to cover the centre halves at the moment. I think it all depends. Where are we going to be at Christmas? Right, it all depends where we are at Christmas. And to me, I still think that I would like to see a left winger. With pace, because I think on the right you've got Johnson who can go past the player, got pace. Don't think we've got someone on the left who can go past players with pace. And then it's either I would look for a goal scoring centre forward if we're not going to put trust in Richie and Veliz, or I would then look at a centre half as well. But I just think it all depends. All these permutations depends. If we can bring two in, it just depends. Where are we at Christmas?
I think he's got the options. Bremer would be a good signing. I think last year's man. Bremer would be a good signing.
And I've heard rumors so far that we're looking at him and pushing for him in January. Yeah,
and I think
same.
that they have got cover in their team.
Right, Bayer Leverkusen on Saturday, they won 3-0 away against Mainz, and their centre halves were Jonathan Tah, Edmund Tapsoba, and Odilon Kosonu.
That name
Plays for
does
them as
not
well, doesn't
mean
he?
anything to me.
Yeah, Piero Incape was a sub, an unused substitute. They got Josip Stanic, but he's a wing back, isn't he? He came on. So basically, yeah, you've got the three that I said, and Incapi was their substitute, their sub centre half on Saturday.
I can't remember how quick he is. If he's not quick, Ange won't have him. But Bremer's such a good defender, you know. I mean, like, again, you would have Romero or if he's not, I'm not sure how quick Bremer is. I know he probably had the best stats of any defender last year in Italy. But he's such a good, and he would give the back four the experience. He's older than the ones we've got. He's got to be 27, isn't he, Bremer? Maybe
Whoa, losing stuff. Things are falling. But anyway, guys, remember he is fast. Yeah, he's about. I looked it up here. Oh man, I just had his speed. Anyway, yeah, his speed and power are two things that he's known for. So he's definitely a fast player. Yeah, absolutely.
Get him. Lloyd Kelly's quick. We know he can play at left back, but it depends. I mean, Ange would have seen Bremer play, and all the players that have been raved about, all the top coaches and managers will have looked at anyway and fancied them. So Bremer would be, I think, it'd be a marquee signing, personally.
Oh, definitely, absolutely, 100%. I don't know if we'll see it happen. I don't know how realistic it is.
They paid 40 million euros for him. I remember this, which is about 34 million pound, and I think we'd get him for about 45.
Is that you, mate?
Yeah, I think we could prize him away. Yeah. They only paid 40 million euros for him. So.
The thing is, if players wanted to come and you really wanted to go and buy players, we could have got them for the 40 million euros back then. It's just, you know, there's a lot of players, and by the time that ship has sailed, then they're going to cost us.
No, because there was another story going around at the time that Bremer wanted Italian citizenship. He's Brazilian, but he wanted Italian citizenship. Now, I know they've got some funny rules in Europe about running businesses and all that, like in Italy as well. They've got some funny business rules, and I think he's involved in restaurants and all that, and you can't open.
Can't be out of the city.
Know more about this. He was saying something about there's rules in place for non-Italians owning businesses and where he is or stuff like that. I mean, I don't know. I don't get Ben what he said, but but apparently he's either fell out of favour with. Then I read other stories. See, I don't know if they're true or not. He fell out of favour with the fans or the management of the club. There were stories about Ozzy would be a good signing. Yeah. So I would. Yeah. So I'd take Bremer tomorrow. I would take him tomorrow. I'd take Tapsoba tomorrow as well.
I'll take Tapsoba today.
Tapsoba is a much more gettable player, obviously, too. I think Tapsoba. I think he's more gettable than Bremer. Do you
I don't
agree?
think so. I think in the Italian league now, they're all still crying poverty over COVID, trying to make up for lost times and stuff like that. And we got Vicario for peanuts, basically.
20 mil, but yeah. I mean,
no, about 19 mil he cost.
Oh, well, it's 19, 20. I mean, it's where we're at there. But yeah. So, quick question too. I mean, do you think that I guess just talking about Vicario. Do you think? I think we got the better deal. I know that Raya is a good keeper. I know that Raya's got Premier League experience.
You got the rumor that Raya was our first choice, Vicario was the second. But bear in mind,
rumors. All it is rumors. We don't know.
Yeah, under Paratici, we looked at Vicario for a couple of seasons apparently. So it's a lot of these stories that come out. I don't really care because I think Vicario is superb. He's just quality. You can see what Buffon was saying about him, the ex-Italian guy.
I just love his mentality. I love how much
He's so apart from that beginning at
he he's
Brentford
everybody
game,
up. He gets everybody going. He you know what I mean?
commanding,
He's the first one to
confident,
praise
comes
his-
for crosses, whereas Lloris would punch the ball. Right,
If he continues the way he's playing at the moment, right, Vicario
he'll be at
continues
least number
to
one.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Donnarumma hasn't really set the world alight this year for PSG, but I don't think anyone else in the team has either. And if you're looking for players on form, Vicario is on more form at the moment than what Donnarumma is at PSG. So he's got a good chance at the next break. And who do Italy play? England.
Oh man, that could be cool.
And look, Vicario's in a harder league than the PSG league. I mean, that's another farmers' league, isn't it? The French league, right? They win it every year. So
it sure is. Yeah, absolutely.
Kay
says that Silva will not happen.
Yeah, I don't think it will, Kay. I think there's more chance of us getting Bremer because they've got enough defenders, Juve. They've got enough defenders. Who have they got? Go and look who they got at the back.
Who? Juve?
Yeah.
Juve have got quite a few. I looked it up the other day.
Danny or Danilo played at the back yesterday.
Yeah, he's decent.
Because they played yesterday's match, didn't they? So I'll tell you now. Right, Sunday.
Yeah, you're on it. You're on it, Jose. We appreciate you. We appreciate you with the stats, with the info, coming in clutch. We appreciate you, sir. So everybody, real quick, we have just a second. I just want to say thanks to everybody who's in the chat. Y'all have been really active today. We really appreciate it. Give us more to talk about, so we're not just three guys just talking shit about nothing. We want to say so thank you to everybody in the chat. Please smash a like on the video. And if you haven't subbed, I bet you have. But if you haven't, please do. We're 30 away from 300, guys. We're climbing. We're making our way. So please get a like and subscribe in if you have not done so yet.
So Danilo's your captain.
Okay. That makes sense. And then
substitutes for them yesterday who would have been centre arse could have been
one second, guys. I'm still here. I just had to turn the camera off for a second.
All right, fair enough.
We're still finding it. We're still here, everybody.
I agree, although Zan, with your post about fluid players. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. NAP, I agree. Yeah, I agree about your Bentancur comment as well. I mean, like, Sarr keeps progressing, being so young. He's going to be hard to push out that midfield.
Referencing a lot of people, I think Sarr gets into the squad immediately over. Yeah. Oh, the Bentancur gets into the squad immediately over Sarr. But would Bentancur get in before a fit Eze? No, probably not. I mean, we don't know what Bentancur. I mean, so are we assuming in this hypothetical that Bentancur is coming back full strength? That he's coming back as he was when he left. Because if not, then he definitely doesn't get in over Eze. Eze is a hell of a player. Good point here by Kate. She says that she thinks Ainge is going to dip into the Asian market.
Yeah, yes, that's a possibility, isn't it?
He's talked a lot about how he's extensively scouted the Asian market, how he knows it from his time in Australia, his time in Japan. So I mean, yeah, and Totspurs again, I agree completely. As they would be in over Bentancur. Where did Jose go, guys? Jose's
There's quite a few clubs interested in Højbjerg. So, and he's not getting much game time, so he could go in January. But if he goes, it's got to be one in, one out. I mean, Man United are interested, and go on.
Jose, is that you? Yeah, we wondered where you went. Okay, here you go. Thanks for calling, mate. I appreciate that.
You said you were switching your camera off or something, and all of a sudden you switched the camera. I've got to spat out.
Oh, it spat you out. I thought you had to go. No, I didn't mean to do it.
I was just,
weird.
I don't know. You said I'm going for a camera, and I was still talking. I was saying, "Can you hear me?" And then I was gone. I don't agree with the comment from Top Spurs. I don't think Eze and Bentancur play the same position.
They're not the same players either.
To me, Eze's your competition for Maddison.
We need it. I think he's cool in that he can play, I think, multiple. I mean, Maddison too, I guess, could play a little bit further back. But embarrassingly, does he have the passing range on him that Maddison does? Is he a good passer of the ball, or is he just kind of that extra attacking midfielder that would almost play like second striker kind of a thing? That, you know what I mean? He would be late runs into the box, contributing.
The late runs into the box. He's got power on him because he's got more of a frame on him than Maddison. But he is there for all intents and purposes. Eze is the heartbeat of Crystal Palace's team. Although saying that, do you know who's worth a punt as well? I reckon at Palace is that Elise. He has got some speed.
Yes.
Elise has got speed to burn.
Definitely. He's a wonderful player. So he's somebody I really wanted, and he's somebody who I fear each and every time that we play Palace. Tots
Spurs is saying Madders, Eze, and Basuma would be an awesome midfield.
It
would be. Yeah, it would be.
It really would be. I don't think we could play that against every single team. I think that we would maybe need somebody a little more defensive. Sometimes
he has, on a rare occasion, played. You'd be probably talking about weaker opposition, but he has played in his system and just played 2 number 10s. He's usually a 6 with 2 8s or a 6 8 and a 10, but he has played with 2 number 10s. It would be interesting if we're flying higher, if say Decky and Maddison played as number 10s behind Son. But you're going to lose. But he also likes 2 wide wingers. I noticed on Saturday that Richarlison was wide on the left, and like Decky was his normal self. But Decky will come into midfield. If he can't find a ball out wide, he'll bring the ball inside, and he'll look to play it off to Maddison, Basuma, or whatever. So
what Kate's just put up there. I've heard a couple of people say that now.
This one here about Højbjerg didn't celebrate.
Did you notice that at the stadium, Adrian?
I was so happy.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't watching.
I wasn't
looking for negatives. I mean, we know that all the bench jump up and run over now and all that, which is good. We know there's a good team spirit there. If he did that, if that was the reason and he did that, that is not a good look for him, is it? You still back your team. While you're with your team, you act as a professional and you give your all, don't you? And if you move on, thanks for the money, and you go on, and you move on to another. He knows he isn't part of Angie's system.
So Audio Artisan brings up a good point here, and that he knows he's gonna need game time for the Euros. He's got to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. But then Kate's saying here that Eze wouldn't come unless he was guaranteed to start. Facts. Yeah, 100%. And then Bear Talks agreeing. So yeah, he's the man of Palace. Why would he come and play second fiddle? Of course, but I don't think he would.
Well, it depends as a player. If you think you got more chance of winning something at Palace, not that you've got a fantastic chance of winning things at Spurs if you go by history, but being at a bigger club and a better club, if you're going to do what you do at Palace and you come to Spurs, he would cost 60 million, wouldn't he? Minimum, right?
Easy. Yeah, I'd say maybe more than that.
So you don't pay 60 million for a player not playing.
But you do your homework. But you do your homework now. Whether it's Scott Munn, new director of football, whoever does their homework now, you've got your list for next summer. Sometimes these assets that you're looking for next summer sometimes, not saying all the time, like Diaz. Diaz was one that Liverpool were after in the summer. Tottenham went in for him in the winter transfer window. Liverpool were alerted to it. They had to then go and buy him in the winter window. So to bring forward their plan with Diaz. Well, for Tottenham, we should be having a plan of what we're looking for next season. And if any of these gems and jewels become available in the winter transfer window, then press a button and go for them if they're on your list for the summer. Also, as well, I keep going back to it. Also depends where we are at Christmas, because at Christmas will determine, does Ange think we're strong enough to go without the players that are going to the AFCON for 4 games? Are we challenging? Do we look like we're going to be somewhere? Do we look like we're going to go anywhere in any direction? And that'll determine what they want to do in the winter transfer window. And I think that the man at the top will press the button if we're in position to do certain things. I think the man at the top will press the button in January.
We're going to do well. I'll come on to that later. But the situation with the squad is when you looked at the bench to bring players on, it looked a little bit threadbare, sort of lacked quality on the bench. We don't know if Liz is going to be good, you know.
I'm telling you, Adrian, he is.
Yeah, fair enough. No, good.
I'm telling you, he is.
I hope you're right. But I'm looking at it this way. You've got 11 on the pitch. You've got 5 subs out of 9. That's 16 players, right? You need a couple of others. So you need about 18 players out of that 25-man squad. Because then, if you do bring an Eze in, don't forget, you've got a minimum. If you don't progress in the Cups, you're playing 40 games a season. You can virtually tell me and say to a player, look, you've got 20 games. You know, you'll get 20 games. And you should be able to rotate that squad and not worry about the team because you've got that amount of players. You can find yourself in a situation like Man City where players weren't getting games. You know, Sancho went, didn't he, off to Germany. You've got Jesus left, Zinchenko left. You know, they weren't getting the games, or Pep didn't think they were good enough.
Cole Palmer to Chelsea.
Yeah, that was a lot of money for him, wasn't it? I mean, so you can get in that situation, but that's the manager's job to keep the squad happy. I mean, I don't hear no more talk from Spurs fans about backups. You know, we're Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, one of the 10 richest clubs in the world, and fans talk about backups in positions. No, we want quality 11 on the pitch that we've got. We know we've got a good 11, right? But we need at least another 6, 7, 8 on the, you know, that we can choose from at any time and not be worried to look around and think, oh, because people had the reaction when Højbjerg came on and Skip come on and things like that, you know,
Todd Spurs has it 100% right. We need to be able to change the game with our subs, and at the moment, we can't up our game. You know, we actually go down a level whenever we bring subs on. Except for, I thought that Højbjerg played well against Liverpool. I know that Kate, you know, he didn't celebrate down the tunnel or whatever, but he was doing a really good job at spraying the ball out wide and really driving us forward when I felt like we had become a little bit stagnant towards the end of that match.
I still go back to remember what I said last week. I still go back to what I said last week when we played against Arsenal, right? And we subbed. In the second half, we were able to sub Sarr and Basuma for Skip and Højbjerg. Mm-hmm. Their substitutions for their 2 midfielders were Havertz and Jorginho. Listen, I don't care what anyone says. I'm keeping Skip and Højbjerg over Jorginho and Havertz. Don't care what anyone says.
Well, Højbjerg and Skip seemed to play better when either of them was alongside Bentancur when he was fit. Our season seemed to drop off as soon as Bentancur got injured. So we know Højbjerg can do a job, a specific type. We know Skip can as well. Skip will be kept because he's homegrown. I think Højbjerg will be sold. Yep. Thank you for your service, and he'll go. Sorry, Ellie, if you're watching this. But, you know, I mean, I think he will be gone. If not in January. It's tough to get players in January. That's why they should be targeted and listed now. They should have the list of players that they're looking at.
That's what I said. Next season.
Yeah. I think centre-back is the most important gap to fill. Right. Then, if it's a midfielder, that's if Højbjerg goes, you know.
How does Phillips? If we keep doing this, how does Phillips get a chance? How does Dorrington get a sniff? They're not going to get sniffs if we keep going to buy players from other clubs.
I agree. I think Phillips is going to play a huge role in the team. I think that we honestly see him as cover for our main 2. I really do. I think we're going to be surprised with how much game time that we see him get. To be honest,
I mean, Romero got 2 yellows at the moment, is he?
Romero's got 2 yet,
and I think Van der Ven.
I don't think Van der Ven's got any. You know.
Sure he got booked.
I don't think he's got any.
I think he's got at least one.
If he's got one, he's got one. He ain't got more than that. But Romero's got 2. A doggy's got 2 as well.
I'm very excited about this team. I mean, I've seen it in preview. You'd have seen it as well. When we had these cup runs, I watched the team. I watched the double side play in the 60s. I was a kid, and then the 70s, the decade, and then you had the 80s with Odelis and Villa, and I've got that same feeling again. And it's my reasoning is based on the fact that against Brentford we came from a goal behind. Against Burnley we came from a goal behind. Against Sheffield United we came from a goal behind. Against Arsenal we came from twice from behind. This is not a fluke. This team has got guts. You know, it has got guts. They're young, fearless, and not their quality. It's not a question of they are quality players. And that back 5 is excellent. the midfield three, like with Bentancur in it and all that, is as good as any in the Premier League and better than most. Up front, that is where we need to be more clinical and need to produce a bit more of the goods.
Exactly. And we had John Fitzpatrick in the comments just saying that we don't need CBs.
And you consider the fact that last year Liverpool finished 5th with 67 points, which is 23 wins and 1 draw. That would leave 47 points you can lose in a season, right? In theory. I know there'd be draws and losses amongst them. So, but do you see Spurs leaving 15 games and 45 points? I think Europe's nailed on. I'm confident enough to say it's nailed on. And we've started the season with undefeated in 7 games. I said to Kate, who laughed, yesterday, don't do it. I said, it's our best start since 1960-61 when we won the double. But in fairness, Kate, if you haven't fallen asleep listening to me, right? In that season, we went 16 games undefeated. The first 11 we won, we drew 1, and then we won the next 4. Don't ask me why I remember all this, right? I just do, right? Because Spurs are in my blood, right? So, but it is our second ever best start to a season that I know of, So, which is good, and we shouldn't do what fans are fearing now. Oh yeah, no, we'll go to Luton, lose a point or drop a point or something like that, And bear in mind that we've actually got 7 bonus points. We drew at Arsenal, we never get nothing. That's the point. We beat Liverpool, we ain't beat them since we beat them at Wembley 4-1, right? That's 4 points. And we beat Man United at home. That's 7 points. This is a big 7 points against 3 teams that you would expect to eventually be top 6 sides this season. Arsenal will be, Liverpool will be, Man United are going through a bit of turmoil, but they've got a big squad, And Den Hag's not a mug. He's not a mug. Press are loving it because it's a big story for them. It's Man United not doing as well as they should. But
it's not even not doing as well as they should. I don't think. Okay, so it's easy to say that these big teams or historically big teams are going to kick on and do well. I don't believe it. The way that this Manchester United team's playing, they fucking suck. They look like shit. And they're dropping points against teams they absolutely shouldn't be dropping points against. I don't think Ten Hag's going to see the end of the season.
I think they'll look different. They'll look different if they can get a left back playing left back, one of their left backs back from injury, and they push Amrabat into midfield to play with Casemiro. I can see them changing and becoming have more strength behind them if they can stick in Amrabat in Casemiro. Because at the moment they are shocking. And may it continue, because they're one of the teams that we're battling with for the top 7 berths or whatever.
See, they're another team that
may it continue.
They bought that Norwegian guy or whatever he is, but I can see Sancho going somewhere like Newcastle because he doesn't fit there, does he? Right? I don't think would Ange want him. I don't know. He scored against us, didn't he? This season before last.
Would you take him? Is a question that someone asked last week, and my answer, it was on Savas. Savas said, "Would you take Sancho?" Sancho said, "No, I wouldn't take him. I wouldn't take Sancho, and I don't think Ange would take Sancho." What does Sancho offer? What does Sancho offer that's different to any of our players at the moment?
Yeah.
The one thing he does offer you is attitude.
Yeah,
the negative attitude, and we don't need that.
We don't need any of that in the squad. That's why the Celso can go if he's a miserable bastard. You know what I mean? He can go.
But
the thing with the Celso thing is, all these clubs in Europe, you tell their skin, they want to offer 15, 20 mil for him. Hang about. He kept McAllister out. He would have been played in that World Cup team with his mate Messi if he'd been fit, and McAllister wouldn't have got a game. Now, I know McAllister was on a fixed fee at Brighton, about 30, 35 mil or something like that. So he goes there. So I don't want anyone trying to tell me that Celso isn't worth 30, 35 million. Because if McAllister is, I know they're different styles of player, but if McAllister is, then Lo Celso is definitely worth.
They changed up their style of play when Lo Celso got injured for Argentina, which gave 2 opportunities because they had to change the way they played, and the opportunities were given to McAllister and Alvarez because they changed up the system that they normally play. Because they would have played with a front three. They played with Lo Celso as the 10, the link man to Messi, but they changed that when Thingy got injured, and they played Alvarez as the forward and Messi off Alvarez. So it gave him an opportunity coming to side and McAllister. and obviously they both took their chances
Mm.
in the sky and went on to win the World Cup.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Kate though saying no to Sancho, his attitude stinks.
Fair enough.
NA Beer Talk though says we are one injury away at fullback or center back to a significant drop off in talent. I don't know. We haven't seen Ash Phillips play. We don't know. I would say that he's probably more like Romero than Van de Ven. Like he's more of a like for like to Romero than to Van de Ven from what I've seen of him. But I don't know. I don't know how huge that drop off would be. Fullback. I mean, I don't think Emerson Royale is that bad. Obviously, going forward, he's no Pedro Porro, but I don't think that he's. I honestly think that we could weather the storm, and I think that we could have a couple of injuries, and the rest of our players would pick up the slack, and that we would be okay.
Mr. Emerson's only started one game, and that was against Brentford. And when he played in that game, I remember coming on and saying to people, Emerson surprised me because Emerson scored a goal. If everyone remembers, he scored the equaliser. But Emerson was popping up in positions. He became inverted, and he was popping up in positions. He was further forward sometimes than Sarr and Basuma. He was on the edge of the penalty area with bloody Maddison. So
but what you could do if Udogie got injured, you've got the choice of Davis to play there. We know he's not going to bomb on as much, right? But then you'd give license to Porro on the other side to do what Udogie's doing now. So Porro could do the Udogie role on the right, whether you brought Emerson in or not. So there are options. It's just like I think we need that third, fourth centre back in, and I'd love Bremer or Tapson. I mean, like just to give us that experience. Go check how old Bremer is. How old is he now? Is he 28?
No, he's got to be. He's older than what we've got, and he's older than
28 sounds about right. Let me do a quick Google here.
He's older than what we've got, but then at the end of the day, Ange is a master tactician. He's not going to give up his.
He's only 20. He's only 26. Bremer's only 26 years old.
He's still older than what we. He's still older than what we got. He's an old git compared to the rest of the team we got.
It's true. That's true.
But with Ange is a master tactician. He knows the way that he wants the game played, and he will fit his pieces to play the game that he wants. And even players that are not playing at the moment, I still think that for this season he has the belief in the players that he's got. So your Emersons and Lo Celsos. These players that are not playing regularly week in, week out, he still believes that they can do a job in positions or wherever he puts them on the pitch or wherever he pieces them and how he wants them to play. He still believes that they're going to be able to do a job this season. So, you know, at the end of the day, look, let me just start to say this. I looked yesterday, right, and I looked at the league table. Is Son the top goal scorer in the Premier League? I think he might be. He's got 6 goals.
I believe so. 6? Has he got that?
He's got 6 innings, right? Yeah. So
Haaland might still be top.
So Haaland's only got. I think Haaland's only got 4, isn't he? 4, 5. Yeah, I don't think he's got more than that. Haaland scored 1 hat-trick. Has he scored more goals than that in games? I don't know. Odd ones here and there.
Yeah, Erling Haaland's got 8. Sonny's got 6.
Okay, so all right, so he has got more. I will tell you what, I must have missed a lot of his goals in. But anyway, I was looking at it and I was thinking to myself, I heard all these people during the season, during pre-season say, we lose Harry Kane, we're going to get relegated. We're going
30 goals. Where are those 30 goals going to come from?
30 goals, yeah, where are the 30 goals coming from? Well, I don't know, but we're right up there with the goal-scoring goals. The top goal scorers in the league. We're right up there. We've got to be in the top 3 or 4 teams scoring goals. So therefore, So therefore, to me, I'm just like, we ain't got a problem. We'll score goals, and they'll come from all over the pitch. So
definitely, and that's I think that's Ange ball for you too.
So
you know what I mean?
Emerson scored. You've got Romero scored. You've got Maddison has scored. Son scored. Richie scored. Kulu scored. Am I missing anyone who hasn't scored yet?
I don't think. I think you've got them all. I think you've got them all.
Kulu scored. Yeah.
Yeah. So therefore, the goals are coming. The goals are coming, and we'll be all right. We'll be all right. In Ange, I trust, mate. We'll be fine.
Real quick, you guys, I want to throw this up there because I know it's going to make people mad, and I love to kind of stir the pot a little bit.
Oh, Matip scored. Mr. K's right. Matip scored as well.
Mr. K. Big up, Mr. K.
Kate said on a show.
So let me get this banner off
Yeah,
here before I throw
Dragon
this.
D Nuts, Sarah scored as well. You're quite right. So Miss Sarah as well.
You did. Dragon D's Nuts is here. What is up, Dragon D's Nuts? I don't see you in the chat very often, so it's really nice to have you here. If you haven't subscribed, we're on the road to 300. We are at 270. If you would please go ahead and just subscribe if you haven't yet, Dragon. That would be lit. But guys, so we've got a manager who we all can think and agree is one of the best managers we've had at the club in a really long time. I know that we are I've got some staunch Levy outers in the club, or not in the club, but in the room with me right now. How much praise does Levy get for bringing in Ange Postecoglou?
I'm not staunch Levy out. I'll just say that I'm just concerned with some of the things that he does.
Okay. Yeah.
And all I want to see is the football side taken care of. That's all I want to see. Whether he's here or whether he's not here doesn't really bother me. Makes no shakes to me. All I want is the football side to be looked after. I'm hoping that with Scott Munn coming in and ADOF and with Ange already here as it is, that we have enough footballing wise going forward. But your question was going to be, do we have to praise him?
Yeah. Does he deserve some credit for it? Because do you
think I'm going to spin it back around? What do you think, Cole? Do you think he stumbled across Ange, or do you think he had a plan for Ange? Because all of a sudden, in his last, I don't know what appearance it was, but was it when they met the fans and all that? He said, "I think I did make a mistake going for trophy win managers, and now we've got someone in who will play the way that Tottenham need to play." Now, has he stumbled across that, or is he, because he's saying this now? Because before he appointed Nuno, we were going to appoint someone who was going to play the Tottenham DNA, the Tottenham way, and then we brought Nuno in, and then suddenly after Nuno we brought Conte in. So that's what he said back then. Now all of a sudden we've had this start to the season. He meets the fans or whatever to have that concaf that I had a couple of weeks ago, and his comment was, we made wrong decisions in bringing in women now managers, but now we've got someone to play our DNA. So I'm not sure whether he did it on purpose, Adrian. I'm not sure whether he was his pick type thing, or whether someone has picked Postecoglou and he's just jumping on the back of it now. So he has to make the choice at the end of the day. I think he's got final say probably over who comes in. So if he was told by somebody else, I think it was Paratici who told him to probably go for Nuno, who probably told him to go for Conte. And if he's listening to somebody else now to tell him to go for Ange, at least he's listening to the right people.
List Ange was a stumble, bit of a luck, or a bit of a we were running out.
I think he was third down the list.
Look, right? We're in third. We're in for Slot. We're in for Nagelsmann. We're in for Tuchel. We're in for De Zerbi.
We were never in for Tuchel. We were never in.
It was until suddenly he ended up back in Germany. We're in for him. I mean, Ange was a long way down our list of choices. He may have been on the top 10 list or something, but he was. I didn't know nothing.
I just think it's no coincidence that we got Scott Munn, another Australian. And then suddenly, after that's announced, then we've got an Australian manager and on an Australian tour. You know what I mean? Doesn't that just seem a little bit coincidental? Maybe a little bit too coincidental? I don't know. But Rich says Levy gets no credit from me yet. Ange is doing the heavy lifting. I would like to see what Levy does now to support Ange moving forward. We sold Kane and didn't bring in a replacement.
Well, if Levy wants to gain more brownie points, back Ange in the January transfer window. We should be trying so hard now. Wherever Ange wants to fill, whatever space, whatever money's available. If it's 60 mil, in theory, with 60 mil, you can get in 4 players because you're only putting £15 million down payments on each of them. And the rest you're paying off over the length of their contracts. So you don't need to do what Chelsea did and go out and spend $1 billion, and end up with egg on your face, or Everton, who spent 500 million and to get nowhere at all, So, but I mean, if our recruitment's been better, I assume they're using all this data and analysis now to decide on players, apart from going and scouting them and using the eye test to back up the analysis and see if you like. So, we may still go back for the young striker in Belgium, Orban.
Who's done? Can I say he's done nothing at all this season?
Fair enough.
All the hype, and he's done nothing. He doesn't even start anymore, Adrian. He's sub. I even looked at it yesterday. He was sub again.
See,
his first touch is worse than Richarlison's. That's all I got to say. Richarlison's worst attribute is his first touch, and Gift Orban's is worse. So
part of the due diligence on these players has got to be their mental attitude. You don't want miserable bastards in your club.
Yeah.
You don't want people who are going to bring other players down. I mean, you want players or team players, don't you? You want players who like will mix and like be part of a team and want to give their all for a team. You don't want players that are prima donnas. You don't want to like an Abramovich, the Swedish guy who was all ego. I forget his name, but you know what I mean. You don't want like players who think they're just prima donnas. You don't want them. I don't think Ange.
There's a style of player that he wants, and he knows what type of player he wants. I'm just, as I said,
He'll have a list. He'll have a list.
I'm hopeful that Munn, that DOF, and Edge have got a list for next summer because you're trying to build. But if the gun needs to be fired in the winter, in January's transfer window, then I hope that we've got the CO Jones to pull the gun on the players that we hopefully have got on our list for next season. But it all depends, and I'll go back to it. It all depends where we are come Christmas. Come Christmas, the New Year, it depends where we are. And that will tell us a lot of what we're trying to do, whether we need to pull the gun early or not.
Well, and Ange has said previously, and I think you and I have talked about this, Jose, that he really likes the January transfer window and credits it in his first season at Celtic to them having such a good finish, at the end of the season.
So you've got to do your groundwork well beforehand for January.
Correct.
Because you've only got a month. You've got 3 months in the summer, almost 3 months. So you can do that, So you've really got to be tapping up agents, not players, because that's tapping up agents and asking them like, we're interested in your colleague, like.
But that should have started. The minute the transfer window closed.
Maybe it did.
Yeah, maybe it could have done.
If the feedback's no, if it's like Bastoni didn't want to come, like, then you go move on straight away. Just move on. Don't waste time trying to persuade a player who doesn't want to come. So you just move on to your next targets or whatever. But like, I mean,
from the 1st of September, you're already working towards next season's transfer window, right? But if these people are on your list, like I said about Diaz earlier, Liverpool had Diaz on the list to get him in the summer. Tottenham bid for Diaz. The agent was then alerted the player, look, Tottenham have come in for you. They've bid the amount of money that's required to take you. And he said, tell Liverpool. Liverpool were told, because his heart was set on Liverpool, and he went to Liverpool. So in them scenarios, if we've got players on our list for next summer and we need to pull the gun in January, let's just go ahead and do it. It will tell us a lot. But I think it also depends on where we are come the January transfer window.
We still need a centre back even more. No matter where we are come January anyway, we're still going to need one. And
what if Ashley comes out?
Why though, Adrian?
Yeah.
Why? Who sent her off? Because Adrian Phillips, like I said, otherwise we're not going to give these youngsters that we're buying a chance, are we? If we bought Phillips and he's on the subs bench and he's ahead of Dyer and everyone else on the subs bench, then surely he should be next in line to get a chance. Surely.
Phillips will probably play in the FA Cup.
Shirley, don't call me Shirley, but yeah.
Okay, if we have an injury to
Phillips plays at the moment, doesn't he? Unless he goes with Davis or he wants to push Emerson Royal as a centre back. Personally,
so if we had an injury,
let's not. We've done this in the past, trying to put square pegs into round holes.
No, I'm not wanting to do that. I'm saying, Adrian, if we lost on the training pitch this week, we lose. God forbid, but if we lost Romero or Van der Ven this week on the training pitch,
if we lost Van der Ven, he would play Davis definitely.
So you wouldn't play Phillips?
Well, he's not left-footed.
Okay,
so that's my main reason for it. I like a balance in my centre backs. There has always been a shortage of left-footed centre backs, but if Romero is injured, I wouldn't have no hesitation about playing Phillips.
See, to me, Phillips is the next cab off the rank at the moment, and whether it's left or right, you play him. Simple as. I wouldn't be. I would still wouldn't play Davis there.
Real quick, I hate to interrupt everyone, but I see somebody else in the chat I've never seen before. Sunny Wife, what is up? Come on, you Spurs, indeed.
Yeah.
We're talking potential future transfers, places where the team might need some help, and having a little bit of a debate, a nice one. And thank you for being here, Sunny Wife. If you haven't, I'll throw the banner back up again. We're only 30 subs away from 300. Please hit that subscribe if you have not yet. If you already have, God love you. Okay, but guys, back to the talk. And Fitzy says, why do we need a CB? I don't get it. And then he says, spot on Eltel. Basically, Adrian, it's not that I don't think you're wrong at all. It's just that I think that we need to give these young players a chance or they're not going to keep coming.
Did you say 270, Colin?
Yeah.
You're now on 271. I've just checked.
Yes, we're climbing. It's a slow climb, but we're doing it. We're doing it. Just want to say big love to everybody in the chat. Couldn't do it without you guys. Always fun talking and chilling with the homies. And so thank you guys. You think Royale would replace Romero in an emergency, dragging these nuts? That's actually not a terrible shout. I mean, in an emergency, not for long term.
When you would play Ashley Phillips. So I've got to disagree with you, Dragon D's. You might be right; it could happen, but no.
That's when you
put someone who's used to playing as a centre back in the centre back position.
Yeah, fair. So, Jose, what do you think about that?
Around holes, just to force it.
I said, if I'm going to have to be honest, and I've got to be true to myself, I did say that I could see Emerson being converted into playing right centre back, but that was when we were playing a 3 at the back. So if Romero was that injured, I'd put him into my third centre off, but on the right hand side. As for a 4, to me, I maintain what I said about 5 minutes ago. The next cab on the rank is Phillips. Left or right, for me, the next cab on the rank is Phillips.
Yeah.
So rather than playing Ben Davis, I'd rather play Ben Davis as the left back than I would left centre half.
Well, we know that Dorrington will come through and be the player who takes the place of Ben Davis, who I think after this season still got another year on his contract.
Dorrington's not
He
left back,
he does.
He plays on the left.
Okay, all right. So he plays left centre half then.
Yeah.
Left-footed too, Adrian. Hopefully, right?
I hope so. Actually, I'd have to check that again.
I was going to say I knew that you would hope so, but
Kulu's left-footed, but he plays on the right. You know what I mean? So, but some players are good at that. I mean, when we had young Carl Walker, he was the same. He could play on both full-back positions. So, I'd have to check on Dorrington again. And I've watched the academy, the games this season.
We're getting slammed. We're getting slammed in the chat by.
We are.
Yeah, they're giving it to us now. Look.
What happened to this? Will be a short video. We drew you in. You ain't going anywhere.
Exactly.
And look who's just joined us.
Whoa,
Ellie, how are you?
Just got back from a yacht trip around the east coast of Cyprus to the renamed Blue and White Lagoon. I get it.
Ellie. Come on and tell us. The links.
I was singing "Give Me a Ginger" from Sweden as they played ABBA's track.
Love it.
Put the link in for Ellie.
Oh yeah, I just threw it in there for her. Ellie, come visit, come say hi. We'd love to hear. But we are just talking Spurs. We're into hour 2. We are into hour 2. What happened to my half-hour show? Don't really know. It kind of that kind of fell apart, but that's okay. I'm glad that everybody is here. Again, I just want to talk. So real quick too, quick question. Was there any drama between Romero and Klopp after the final whistle yesterday? I heard there was, but I can't find anything about it. I can't find any video or anything. Did you guys see any like the benches?
The only running stuff that I saw was Richie and Klopp. So Richie was giving it to Klopp, and Klopp was giving it to Richie from the sidelines during the game. And Richie was basically telling him to shut up and fuck off.
Because there'd be no reason for Richie to sort of dip out Klopp. I mean, you could wind up an opponent's bench if you scored a goal and you run past them and go, "Did you like that?" And you could wind them up and do all that sort of stuff, which does go on sometimes. But I can see Klopp getting a bit prickly because things weren't going his way.
Richie put some tackles in, so it must have been Richie put some tackles in, and it would have been in the half nearest to where the
Liverpool bench
the benches are. So whenever Richarlison was on that side of the benches, so it could have been second half. It might have been. He was giving it to him. He was giving it to him because of the tackles that he was putting in, and he's having a go at Richie, and Richie just said to him, "Shut up and fuck off." So that's the only running stuff that I saw from a player from our side with Klopp. I never saw anything about Romero, but Top Spurs are saying what he thinks might have happened, although Romero for me would have done a lot more than that if something did happen.
Yeah, it's they've also got their history, because Richarlison obviously coming from Everton and Liverpool, so they probably have a bit of history there, and there might be a bit of bad blood because of that. But it's not like Everton are exactly a real threat to Liverpool. I honestly don't know when the last time they beat them was. I don't think it was that long ago. I kind of half remember that. Maybe you guys have a better memory than me, but that could be where their bad blood began. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of carried over to Spurs.
No, it's just the next comment from Tot Spurs where he's talking about buckets.
Follow me. Romero probably said, "Follow me. I got a bucket of your tears. We have automated sprinklers here for the pitch." Love it.
Liverpool's under 3 foot of water. We don't expect the water to drain away too soon. You know what I mean?
I haven't seen Klopp's post-match interview. Was he as big of a baby as I expected him to be? Did you guys get a chance to see that?
I think he just turned around I've seen his interviews and I've also seen his presser. At not one stage did he praise Tottenham for anything Tottenham had done. It was all around. He didn't want to get fined for having.
Oh my god, I hate that.
You might
as well get fined for saying, "I don't want to get fined for saying this." Fine him right away.
Basically, I think a lot of the managers, and it's a lot of them, a lot of the managers don't want to get touchline bans because that's what ends up happening. You just don't get a fine; you get a touchline ban as well if you start abusing the system, so to speak. So either the VAR, the referees, or the FA. You say anything derogatory against them, they're pulling you up, and they're gonna give you a fine and or a ban. And I don't think he wanted anything like that. So therefore, he was just saying, "Look, I can't say everything I want to say because if I do, I'll end up with a fine or more." But he was saying stuff about. I think it was he tried to defend Curtis Jones' tackle. He said he didn't feel it was high. He said he got the ball, and then after he got the ball, then his leg followed through. By all accounts, I think Liverpool
isn't a follow through still a foul? Like if I was going to slide back with you,
whichever
follow through took you out.
Dangerous play. You go over the top with your studs showing. You can possibly break a player's leg. You go because the reason you don't let him off that, because then you're giving license to other players to do it in other games.
I think Liverpool are looking to challenge the red card so that they're going to put in a submission. Yeah, I believe they'll lose as well, but they're going to put in a submission against the red card. As for Jota, I think he talked about Jota's first foul, saying that there was a clap of legs, and he didn't feel that the first one was warranted type thing. He talked about VAR not being what it's been set up to do because everyone could see, and I must admit I said it straight away as well when I watched the game live with my son. I said that's a goal, and that was straight away before they had free framed it, before they stopped it. And the other interesting thing was
you can tell with your eyes.
On telly when they showed the pass and they freeze framed it, there was no lines, and you could still see he was onside by a mile.
But hey, I'll take it. We don't always get decisions to go our way. If we'll
Jota anyway. Like I think the ref already had a word with him about one of his tackles before he got the first booking, and that second booking, well, that was on the shin.
So stupid.
That was on the shin. I mean, like if you look at it, I mean, it's blatant foul. You can't complain about a second. Look, Liverpool, their indiscipline cost them. It wasn't so much Matic, we were looking all right 11 against 11. I think like we didn't know how to take full advantage of them when they went out to 10 or even 9. I mean, like, but that's us. We weren't at our best, and we beat Liverpool. That can't be bad.
True.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that what they're trying to do now with all this complaining and with all of this, hubbub and hullabaloo, and I think they're trying to bully the referees into calling things their way from now on. I think they're.
I think I'm a bit cynical about this. I mean, the whole thing that Klopp and these top managers, and Pepper's done it when he's got a bit prickly as well. And these guys are very good managers, are very successful, they're world-class managers, but they've got this win at all cost mentality. And if they can find any way at all, any minute way of gaining an advantage by deploying black arts or putting pressure on officials, they do it. Romino used to do it. Conte used to. I mean, like, they do it. And I think they don't do it just for the game that they've recently played. They do it to put pressure on the officials before they play their next game and the game after that. And, like, I don't like it. I like it. And I'm glad this, and they don't, especially when it works against them. And Liverpool have been on that article posting it now. They've gained more points for VAR decisions or not. Now, if they were all what we would call, if we were debating each of those individual decisions and found they were correct, well, fair enough, But we all know, like, with decisions given on a handball and things like, I mean, a handball is just a joke now. I don't know where we are with that. Even
oh my God, yeah.
I don't know. So, like, these things, like, it'd be the spirit of the law before, and fans will scream for it. If a ball's hit at a player 100 miles an hour, hits him in the hand, they go, handball, penalty. But sometimes they'll give that. This is the thing. And they shouldn't. It should be the spirit of the law. To me, anything touches a hand now, and actually assume it's going to be given. But
yeah. I know it's wild how much it's changed. You can't. We could talk about handballs for a long time, and I could. But hey, so Jose and I both have got to go. We did not realize time had gotten away from me. I work in less than 25 minutes now, so we've got to wrap this thing up, and Jose's got to go in about 5. Real quick before we head off
to play football.
Yes, see, you're doing a fun thing. I'm working, and I don't want to do that. But real quick, I just want to say, everybody, please go and subscribe to Jose's channel. Eltel Cockerell. I have the link right here, and I'm getting ready to throw it up in the chat for everybody. Please go over to his channel, like some of his videos, subscribe to the page, please. Let's get him up. And then we've got my man. Let me get this comment off here. We've got my man Adrian Stroka. You can see right there. There is his Twitter handle right underneath his beautiful face, and it says Adrian_Stroka. If you go to Twitter there, you can get the link to his Facebook page where he's got thousands of Spurs fans all hanging out, all congregating, all talking, and you can be part of that. Looks like we've got the link to that here too. Nice job, Adrian. Let me throw that in the chat for everybody. Before we leave, guys, we'll have plenty more time to do this, but first thoughts, what are your goal guesses? We're gonna beat Luton Town, right? But by how many goals? What do you think the final score is going to be? Start with Adrian.
4-1 Spurs.
4-1 Spurs? Fair. Jose?
Well, I'm going to give you an early prediction now, but it'll probably change by the time the weekend comes.
Yeah, same. So exactly.
I'm hoping that it changes and goes higher, but at the moment, I'm going to say 3-0 Tottenham.
We'll take it. NA Beer Talk says he doesn't do Facebook, but he just subbed Jose. You guys are great. You're great, man.
That's fair enough. That's all. Fair enough.
And then 4-1 win. Says Mr. K. Yes. All right, everybody. Jose, if you got to run, go for it, buddy. I'm just gonna do my goodbyes.
Okay. Are you on roughly the same time tomorrow, Colin?
Exactly the same time.
Well, can everybody that's joined us today, everyone join and give support to Colin again tomorrow? He does it around the same time every day of the week, Monday through to Friday. He wants to grow his channel. He gives good content, gives everyone opportunity to have a chat as well. He answers everybody's comments as well. So big love to Colin. Peace. Adrian, as always, mate, good to see you, mucker. And
to see
hopefully
you.
I'll see you soon, yeah? Chaps, I'm going to dark. I'm going to go
Good
and
luck
play
at the
football.
football, man. Good
See you
luck.
very
tomorrow.
much.
Same time,
Bye, lad.
same back channel.
Take care.
See you
Bye.
guys. Bye. All right. So yeah, Adrian, I'm heading out too.
Yeah, me and all. Need to get started.
Yeah. But hey,
I'll see you
thank you
tomorrow.
so much for joining. Yep. See you tomorrow, buddy.
See you tomorrow. All right. Cheers. Bye.
Cheers. Bye. All right, everybody. So that has been another edition of Talk and Ball. Oh, here's Ellie. Ellie, I'm so sorry. I just realized I have to work. I didn't realize how late it was. I got to work in 20 minutes. So I am saying bye. But thanks for being here. We appreciate you. And thanks for helping me get the channel, the word out for the channel. I've been throwing this banner up. We are only 30 subs. Well, now 29 subs away from 300. So we're growing. We're doing the thing. Yeah. So
I just wanted to show you my Australia hat for Postecoglou.
For Big Ange. Yes. Love it. Yes. A for Australia, A for Ange.
Tomorrow you're on, yeah?
Same time as today too. So it'd be 3 p.m. UK time.
5 p.m. my time.
Yeah, 5 p.m. your time. So and you're getting lots of love in the chat, by the way. Yeah, I gotta go, everybody. But hey, exactly. So hey, okay. So but I'll talk to you tomorrow, Ellie.
See ya. Bye.
Bye. Okay, everybody, and I just wanted to say the usual goodbyes while I got another second here. Wanted to throw up, you know what it is. Wanted to throw up my this show is brought to you by viewers like you. Thank you guys so much for coming and joining in. Sorry that I keep saying it's going to be a half-hour show when it turns into something wild, but once you get friends in here talking football, it is hard to stop. Everybody, again, thank you so much for joining in. If you haven't, please like and subscribe to the channel. If you know anybody else that likes Spurs content that may not be subscribed to my channel, please pass this along their way. Like I said, we're closing in on that 300 number. The next goal after that's going to be 500 and then on to 1,000. We're doing it, and I'm doing it because of you guys. Thank you. I also really quick wanted to throw in the Patreon link. You might have noticed it looked a little bit different around here today. Got a new, better light, so I don't look like a sheet of paper. Got a Spurs flag behind me. Had some lights. They fell. Still working on all of that. But that is brought to you by Chris Peters and Wayne Bonner, my two Patreon members who have graciously helped me to support me so that I can get new things for the channel. I really, really appreciate it. And you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. And to everybody that watch, big up to all you guys. Liking and subscribe is just as good as a Patreon membership. I promise. Please don't feel like you got to spend money because you sure don't. But just want to say big love to you guys. As always, and as the ticker at the bottom there says, thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us. Show each other some love. And do something nice for a stranger today. It feels good. Just go out there and be a good person. It's not hard. It feels good, and it makes the world a better place. Don't be like a Liverpool fan today. And if you see one, rub their faces in it, guys. Anyway, that's it. That's all. Come on, you Spurs.